Hey everybody, I'm Clyde and this is my Hiwatt David Gilmour signature series. It's the 50-watt version, the DG-504. And this is a quick demo of it just to give you an idea of what it sounds like through a consumer level camera, because a lot of people said, commenting on my other videos, that they wanted to hear something that was more like a typical YouTube video. Because my other videos are more of a studio setup where I just threw a typical microphone on them and ran them into you know, Pro Tools and recorded over some backing tracks. So this is the total opposite of that. This is pretty much what everybody else does, so everybody has a fair comparison, I guess. So the camera I'm using is a Cannon digital camera, and so here's the Hiwatt, and the Cannon I'm using is a Hughes Kettner 212 with Celestion Vintage 30s. The guitar I'm using is a 95 American Strat. It's got Dimarzio mini humbuckers in it that I'll keep in full humbucking position for this demo. So the amp itself has 3 inputs as opposed to the typical 4 or some of the 70s have 2 inputs. Has a normal, a bright, and a linked. I usually like to use a linked. It's got a little more juice to it. It kind of combines the other 2 inputs. And the controls are a normal volume, bright volume, bass, treble, middle, presence, and master volume. There's also the main power switch, the standby, and the indicator light to tell you whether or not it's on. I have the master volume just over halfway. The presence, middle, and treble are about maybe 35%. Middle's a little bit higher. The bass is a little bit higher than that. And then the 2 volumes are about 35%, somewhere around there. I'm going to give you an idea of what it sounds like by itself, and then I'm also going to give you an idea of what it sounds like with some pedals, because they take pedals really well. Okay, so here's what it sounds like. Turn the standby on. It's really, really clean. Really responsive. You can hear pretty much everything you do on the guitar, so if you make any little noise mistakes or any weird finger movements or anything, it comes through. So it makes you a really more true of a player, which I actually really like. It's really detailed and vivid, I guess you could say. The first thing I'm going to do is go between a few different pedals here. The first pedal is a Boss blues driver. It's modded with an H2O mod, which you can find on the internet. So here's the difference between the clean and the blues driver. See, it's really responsive and accurate sounding. I like that pedal the best. Next pedal is a Super Overdrive, the Boss pedal, and that's also modded with a Tube Screamer mod. Here's the clean first. Hear the amp really lets you bite in on a lot of the notes, like regardless of what pedal I use. That was the Super Overdrive. Here's the blues driver. has like a sticky kind of sound. That has to do with the playing a little bit too, but the amp itself makes that really shine through. Everything you do really shines through. The other drive, or fuzz pedal actually, that I'm going to show you is a build your own clone, Big Muff clone. And it's the newer version with the mid-range selector. So here's the bridge pickup clean, and here's with the muff. Kind of a wild fuzz sound, get a little more out of it. So, the last thing I want to show is the Hiwatt's natural distortion sound. And the best way for me to do that usually is to take the amp up to the point where it's almost going to break up on its own, and then use a boost pedal, because that's the most practical for a live setting. So the amp itself, I'll juice it up just so you can hear. It's still pretty clean. But it's got a little bit of bite to it. Take it kind of just before that, and then I use an Ego Booster by Smart People Factory, and basically just boosts the input signal. So that's pretty much the way this amp sounds. If you guys like it, I suggest checking one out. I was lucky enough to get a newer one. I got a good deal on it, and I think it sounds great. A lot of people say that they don't sound as good as the old ones, but I've never played an old one, so I really don't know. I have played a lot of amps though. I own quite a few, and I've owned a lot of vintage amps and a lot of newer amps. And this one, for its style, is definitely the best amp I've ever owned. And I think the quality and the workmanship is really great. The only thing I don't like about it is the speaker output jacks on the back are plastic. And that's pretty much the only thing I don't like. Everything on the front looks beautiful, it sounds great, it works great. So I would definitely recommend, if you can get one secondhand, just go for it if you can afford it. Otherwise, there's a lot of old vintage ones out there that need a little work, and you can get one of those, or even a Sound City, or Reeves, something like that, and they all sound pretty similar. So that's it. That's the Hiwatt. The David Gilmour Signature Series is the 50-watt version, and thank you for watching.